elevated his game, second team All ACC, and now getting the Skip Prosser Award.
Well, it's a great award, and I know the Skip really felt strongly about excelling in the classroom as well, and a great honor for him, and also academic All-American. That was something that was very special for me to be named to that team.
Reminiscent of Mike Giminski's days at Duke. And Miami now will bring it down after the turnover. Durant Scott. This is a team that struggled from the outside yesterday. Had a tough time getting it going against the Cavaliers of Virginia. They'll need those outside shots today.
No question about it. I think they've got to make 14 or 15 threes in this game, Tim, to be a factor. I mean, it's just a high-scoring North Carolina team, but they do it out of multiple possessions rather than by the three.
Well, that's a mismatch there with Zeller going against Thomas. Thomas will have to battle him this entire game, and that'll get you into foul trouble in a hurry.
It's such a long front line for North Carolina with Barnes, Henson, and Zeller. Miami very concerned about the offensive glass. You've got to block them out a little bit farther in front of the rim.
There's Roy Williams coaching today in his 800th college game.
I mean, that's mind-boggling. 80% of his games he's won. 4 out of every 5 he's going out and winning.
Unbelievable. In his 8th year back at North Carolina, taking the Tar Heels to the NCAA 6 times, 2 national championships.
You're going to see a lot of zone from Miami in this game.
There's another turnover, 2 for the Tar Heels already. Miami now will bring it down.
Be careful if you're big in the middle of that zone and you put it on the floor.
Inside to Reggie Johnson, the big fella puts it on the floor but scores.
He's got to play 30 minutes in this game. He's got to stay out of foul trouble and be a factor for them.
That's why I think we'll see Julian Gamble early play the 2 bigs. Marshall looked at it, didn't take it. Barnes will. And another turnover. Henson put it on the floor. Scott made him pay.
Terrific start for Miami right now, and North Carolina uncharacteristically being a little casual with the basketball. And I've always said, Tim, that I think the team that played yesterday has a little bit of an advantage, especially at the start of the game.
That's a good point, Mike, and I don't think there's any question about it. Inside again to Zeller, the jump hook. Carolina's on the board.
I was watching him in pre-game warm-ups, and he took about 30 of those shots. He likes that block on the floor and turning baseline away from the double team in the zone.
Brant, Scott. Miami really slowed down yesterday when he was at the point. Couldn't really get into their offensive flow. Thomas had a look from beyond the arc, throws it back outside to Brown. Brown not even close.
It's a tough matchup. Ryan Brown, and when they do play man, he'll have Harrison Barnes. Barnes is the one guy that they really have trouble with matching up defensively.
Tar Heels coming off that big win over Duke. Won in the regular season championship. First shot by Marshall, draws iron.
Marshall capable just under 40%, but I think you want him to take jump shots instead of letting him run wild in the paint if you're Miami.
Miami was lucky to get that back. Thomas was not looking for the pass. Here's the big fella, Reggie Johnson. He doesn't think they can stop him.
Right, and interesting too, no double team help for Zeller.
Miami really having a tough time holding on to the ball. That's 4 turnovers already, Mike.
And look for, with Johnson, sometimes his conditioning gives him a problem. Look for Zeller to run out on plays.
3 from Malcolm Brant, his first. Barnes, good first step down into the lane and scores.
He's got such an ability to take long strides after he picks up his dribble and find that seam and jump shot in the middle.
His emergence took Carolina from being very solid in January to being the best team in this league.
In his emergence coincided with Marshall taking over at the point. He really facilitates the game for Harrison Barnes.
That's a 3. Barnes has ignited the Tar Heels.
Yeah, and Harrison Barnes and Leslie McDonald are the 2 guys right now that you have to identify on the perimeter. They are the most dangerous 3-point shooters that North Carolina has.
Tied at 7, just underway in the Greensboro Coliseum. back to Thomas. Had a look. Henson makes him think twice. He's very, very long.
And he can defend on the perimeter, too, not just inside.
That ball was blocked. Reggie Johnson gets it back.
Never recycled shot clock.
Got the shot off. Oh, how about the hesitation? Kick it out to Strickland. On the baseline. Another turnover. Number 5 for the Tar Heels. Reggie Johnson is fouled. I believe it'll be on Tyler Zeller. Mike, the foul was not on Tyler Zeller. It was on John Henson. But the bottom line is it's sending Reggie Johnson to the line. And he's a 68% free throw shooter. Makes the first. GMC scoreboard will keep you updated on all the scores throughout the ACC today and throughout the rest of the country. Had some upsets yesterday.
Yeah, Johnson had a double-double in the game down at Coral Gables. 11 points, 13 rebounds for him, so he should have a little confidence.
He's had 3 straight 10 rebound games. Gamble now comes into the line, so now you've got the bigs in. Reggie Johnson goes out. You've got DeQuan Jones and Julian Gamble. Knox, fadeaway jumper. And the foul. And Henson will go to the line and shoot 2.
And that's the one thing, Tim, if you're going to play a lot of zone like Miami, the one place you're going to be vulnerable is on the offensive glass. And that's the one thing you have to worry about. Frank Haith looking on.
Frank Haith in his 7th year at Miami. Taking Miami into postseason 4 of his first 6 seasons. Henson makes the free throw.
They're going to try to. They'll probably try to buy Reggie Johnson some minutes on the bench just to protect him in a foul situation.
Misses the second. Tar Heels get it back. They'll reset. Kendall Marshall inside to Knox, and it'll belong to Miami. Ray Natili says the ball was tipped, and it should be Carolina's ball.
I think now the discussion, and Sean Corbin was on the baseline, so he might have seen it last. And yeah, we're going to give reward North Carolina. That was a good call.
Frank Haith doesn't like it.
A good piece of officiating. There's the tip right there, and he never touches his hands.
Ray Natili was all over. Hanson loses this one going up. Has it knocked away.
6th steal of the game. Miami very active with their hands early on in that zone.
Darius Adams gives him a pretty good 3-pointer from outside. That's a 2-ball. And Henson comes away with it.
Look for Miami to run a lot of pick and rolls. They don't feel like North Carolina does a great job in that situation. So especially we're going to try to involve Henson away from the basket when he's in the game.
Miami using that zone very actively. And they'll run with the turnover. Malcolm Brant got off to a slow start yesterday. Here again today, just can't find that range.
He got into foul trouble in the game down in Miami and was not a real fact. Got off to a good start, but then had to sit out for a long stretch in that first half. And that wasn't a bad shot because Miami had board coverage, and I think that they won't be afraid to pull up in transition and shoot the 3.
Duran Scott comes in from Malcolm Grant. Miami continues to move its lineup. This is Scott inside the Gamble. We'll try to back down. Nice drop step. Well, you got to finish that play.
No question about it.
That's offensive. Kendall Marshall dipped his shoulder.
That was a correct call, and that's the thing. That's a good call, Tim, on that right there. Just anytime you dip the shoulder to try to get an advantage, you're going to get that call. And the Miami defender had established himself in front.
13-15 to play in the first of 4 games today. Carolina and Miami. Trying to go inside to Gamble. Well, they jump Adams. They know how difficult he is beyond that arc. Shot clock down to 8. Shot clock down to 5. Brant Scott reads it. He's got to go. Floating one-hander, yes.
That's a pretty good possession for Frank Haith in Miami. You use the whole shot clock and you get a score at the end of it. They want to try and control the tempo in this game.
Canes by 3. McDonald strong. Campbell again will try to back his way in. He's got a great long step, and he banks it in. Miami's starting to pull away a little bit here early.
Tim, the thing is that North Carolina is defending outside in. They have tremendous respect for the three-point shooting.
They say that McDonald step on the line. That's 9 turnovers.
And Tim, because of that, right now that Miami has 8 more field goal attempts than do North Carolina, and you get a fresh starting 5 in.
He's going after his whole bench. Roy Williams is furious.
And not only that, but of guys who don't normally play.
Walk-ons. Roy Williams is saying, you're not ready to play in the tournament, sit down. Making a statement here. And he's going to let these guys know about it. He doesn't have to say much. 8 points, 9 turnovers, and Roy Williams had seen enough.
Well, he is calling them out right now over on the bench.
Boy, is he hot. Brant Scott with 2 more. Williams didn't even look at that. He's still letting his guys have it on the bench. Carolina's got 15 on the shot clock. Where do you go for scoring in this group? It's almost an air ball. And Miami comes away with it, and the foul.
You got to think that this 5 out there for North Carolina may be as stunned as anybody in the building.
The foul is on Van Hatchel, a walk-on. But Roy Williams never looked at it. He's given his starters the what for. It's 15-8 Miami. Miami with 15 points and absolutely no turnovers. Last foul was on Van Hatchel, a walk-on. That's the son of Sylvia Hatchel, who's the women's basketball coach. So Van's in the box score. Not sure it's the way he wanted to go in, but he's in. Still have 8 on the shot clock. Almost got the roll, but Adams thought it was in. It's not. Mike, how long can he go with this team on the floor?
Until he feels like the message has been sent. I thought it was going to be over after the last time out.
That's what I thought. There's turnover number 10 for Carolina. Let's go over to Scott Przwanski. Scott, what's he telling them? Here they come.
Well, it was really 3 words: turnovers, intensity, and defense. And then he added into it, do you guys want to win? Turnovers, intensity, defense. That's what he was preaching to them. And when they got a stop on this last end, he went up and down the bench and just cheered at his guys and says, you're going back in. That's what we need to see, that kind of effort.
Well, they're back in now, so the starters from Carolina come in. They're out just over 2 minutes. It's 15-8 Miami. This is Adams. Kicks it outside. Thomas. Roy Williams. He lets them know about it. That's good effort by Carolina, and they turn it into a 3-ball.
That play was set up before half court. Kendall Marshall gave eye contact to Harrison Barnes, waved him over to the corner. Zeller sets a nice screen. What a floor general he is.
I know their coach was happy to see it. Miami by 4. Malcolm Brant's been sitting out a while now for Miami. This is the freshman Brown. That should be goaltending. It is. Ryan Brown gets 2, and here comes Grant.
Here's the look, and this is what John Henson does, the National Defensive Player of the Year. Anytime you're in front of the rim like that, that's going to always be called a goaltend, but that was on the way down anyway. But that's not a bad message sent either, you know, to him by Henson to say, hey, I'm here, fellas. I'm playing goalie. Drive at your own peril.
Good point. Malcolm Brant has checked back into the ball game for the Canes. Here's Barnes with a jumper. Banks it in.
It just looks so effortless with him when he shoots the basketball. Beautiful form.
Under 9 minutes in the first half. Thomas beyond the arc. Brown keeps it alive. Ball's still loose. Tar Heels will run. Back to Marshall, over to Barnes. This is beyond the arc. They get a new 35. Henson, a little jump hook. And Miami comes away with it.
Against that zone, they've moved Henson up to the high post, and they'll play a little high-low action with him and Zeller.
Marshall on the break. He's fouled by Duran Scott. That'll be his first. Hey, if you want to see highlights of ACC basketball, all you have to do is check out Haviland ACC Basketball Highlights now online. You can view action from each ACC network tournament telecast. Log on to theacc.com.
Tim, I really think that Miami missed an opportunity in that first half. They're only up 4 in this game, and North Carolina was turning the ball over. Then you had the not beyond the blue team come in for a stretch, and they didn't put any distance between themselves and North Carolina.
Couldn't agree with you more there, Mike. You're absolutely right. And Carolina playing with a whole lot more intensity and a lot of confidence right now. Whistle. This foul is on Quan Jones. That's his second. 4th team foul. Carolina gets a new 35. They'll bring it in. Out front they go to Strickland and back to Marshall. Wrap-around pass. Last touch by Miami.
And Kendall Marshall even got some votes for Freshman of the Year as well. Got my vote, as a matter of fact. I just think he's the main reason why this team is where they are.
Outstanding player. Kendall Marshall from O'Connell High School in Northern Virginia. Played there for Joe Wooten. Outstanding coach and the son of the great Morgan Wooten. Shot clock down to 9. Carolina's got to go with 5 on the shot clock. Kendall Marshall recognizes that. 2, 1.
Anytime you can make him drive right, it's always a bonus. And boy, Miami was really packed in tightly in the zone that time.
One of the adjustments they made, Mike, you were talking about how difficult it is to rebound out of the zone, but they really have tucked that thing tightly. Ryan Brown just having a tough time beyond the arc. But Miami can score points in bunches. When they start knocking those down, look out.
I don't know. I don't necessarily know that a low-scoring game doesn't favor Miami. You know, they would like to control, but they'll run when they can.
Malcolm Brant, yes. That's for 3. He's got 6 points now. Out to Barnes. Tries to answer with a 3. Grant will run. Miami's got numbers. Right side. And they miss the snowbird.
And that was Kendall Marshall bothered that enough that it made Brown think.
Now the tempo picks up. And what does Frank Hayes say?
He gets up and puts his foot on the brake.
Grant step back against Strickland.
Strickland, their best defender.
How about the pass to Zeller from Marshall and Gamble with the foul?
And this is the one thing that Kendall Marshall does as well as any point guard in the country. Look at the eyes looking up, and they will run Zeller off the defensive glass. They know they've got guys who can look at the ball. He's the guy on the front line that will leak out.
So Gamble with the foul is going to make Tyler Zeller earned them at the foul line. He's a 74% free throw shooter. 25 double-figure scoring games this year. You know, Mike, he's been healthy for the first time in 3 years, and it showed in his play all season.
Well, you think about it, Tim, his first 2 years, he missed half of the games he was eligible for, and he only played 17 minutes a game.
Closed captioning for today's telecast provided by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's Bo time.
Now, what they've asked him to do this year is play twice as many games in twice as many minutes. And that was a concern of Roy Williams coming into the year, but he has responded beautifully.
Big time. Big time. First points for Carolina, though, in 3.5 minutes. And it's a 5-point game.
So far, they like to run that screen roll and talk about Miami with Reggie Johnson up front and then work him into the post, but he hasn't gotten many touches inside.
Shot clock is down to 10. And there's a turnover and a foul.
Reggie Johnson's going to get that foul for an illegal screen.
And that's his first. Reggie shaking his head. Reggie Johnson has been known to get frustrated. The other side of that is I think he's played his best basketball when he's been upset. Good ball movement now by Carolina. The jump hook by Zeller, and Henson is fouled. Foul is on Darius Adams. Don't forget, coming up next, Boston College and Clemson. Another pretty good matchup, Mike. 4 and 5 seeds.
Well, and you talked about it earlier about Julian Gamble, and in the place where Miami has had problems with Zeller and Henson on the floor is who the guy other than Reggie Johnson is playing. And it's, you know, if Johnson's been on Zeller, Henson's had the ability to get in on the offensive glass and get some scores.
This is as close as Carolina's been in a while. 2017. Tar Heels trail by only 3, and the faithful get to their feet. Good crowd for the first session of the tournament. Zeller with the rebound. Marshall into the corner. Henson. Zeller keeps it alive. Brant Scott is walked. Turn it over. It's only the second turnover from Miami. Frank Haith not happy about the call. Scott snuck an extra one in there.
And the travel was called before the contact occurred.
The winner of this game moves on and plays the winner of the Boston College Clemson game.
Right now, McDonald against the zone is the one perimeter threat that they have with Barnes out of the game.
That's for 3. Justin Watts has made it a 7-0 run for Carolina. We're tied at 20.
Let me say again, there are 2 threats out there for North Carolina from the perimeter.
Justin Watts just 30% from beyond the arc, but he's 1 for 1 today.
He's played backup power forward mostly this year.
Tough shot by Reggie Johnson, but he now has 6.
He hasn't had a touch in the low post in a while.
I'd fade the big fella all day if I was Miami. Wrap around to Henson. Gamble comes out with it. Brant will push it. This is for 3 from Brown. Yes!
Good shot, and that's where you're going to get some open looks in transition.
Back to Watts. He looks at it. Takes it on the baseline with the floater. Offensive foul on Watts. 2:59 to play here in the first half of the first game in the Greensboro Coliseum, the 58th annual ACC Tournament. It's the quarterfinals. Miami leading North Carolina by 5, and Miami has led this entire first half.
Miami outscoring North Carolina 12-2, and then Zeller and Barnes have missed some easy shots inside. Zeller 1 of 3, Henson 0 of 3 in the game so far.
Turnovers a big key in this ball game, most of them by North Carolina. Ryan Brown is fouled by Tyler Zeller. Not a very good foul there.
White, 44.
Reminder, coming up at halftime, we'll have analysis, highlights, and a whole lot more for you. That's all coming up on the Hardy's halftime report.
Well, Zeller has been graded out as the defensive player of the game 9 times this year for North Carolina as they break down the film. But that was not a very good play. Out of control coming out against Ryan Brown.
There's the GMC scoreboard updating you on the scores from around the country. Reggie Johnson walks. That's 4 turnovers now for Miami.
You can see again the respect that North Carolina has for the perimeter game of Miami. That was a late double team on the dig in that time, so Reggie Johnson can really take his time and make his move. He's not getting double team attention immediately.
Never a good thing when a big has too much time to think about making a move.
Don't think, you'll only hurt the ball club. You got to react. But you do have to see, Tim. You have to see where things are coming from, especially on the doubles, and that's usually the last skill that a young center learns.
Zeller throws it away. A nightmare of a first half turnover-wise for the Tar Heels. That's 13 turnovers. But as you said, Mike, they're only down 5.
Very fortunate to be down 5.
This is Gamble. Malcolm Brant. That's a 3 ball. It's a 7-0 Miami run. Inside to Zeller. Working on Johnson. He walks. Tyler Zeller 7 feet, but he's only 250 pounds. Reggie Johnson 6'10". He's over 300. A principal financial edge of the game.
And this is what the coaches talked about. And for North Carolina, it was defending the 3. For Miami, it was shooting the 3. And they're the best shooting 3-point team in the conference. So a different focus on it, but certainly the focus in this game.
Malcolm Brant again. He's got 2 in a row. If he starts heating up, look out. He's got 12 points, and Miami's got its largest lead. Strickland a little bit shaken up.
He's going to get the foul as well on that play. There's the look out front. Malcolm Brant has come in and really looked for his own offense.
Malcolm Brant struggled in the game yesterday against Virginia. Came in here, missed his first couple of big threes. Now all of a sudden he's heating up. Miami's on a run, and they've got an 11-point lead.
Maybe appropriately, his number is 3. He leads the conference in made threes per game, just under 3.
So he'll shoot him up to 190.
I'd say that qualifies as a green light.
He's not shy. Boy, look again. Now he goes down. The pass underneath to Johnson is knocked out of bounds. Hey, Mike, I don't think Four Corners Phil was ever pulled from a game.
No, not. You know what? I used to tease him. I said, how could the point guard be the all-time leading scorer to school? You know, but he was a great player. It was my good fortune to compete against him. He dropped 34 on us in his senior day over in Carmichael, and one of the great players in the history of this conference.
He was a maestro, wasn't he? He could orchestrate a game. 48.8 seconds left here in the first half. Carolina down 11. Trying to close the gap here on what will maybe be their final possession. Strickland back to Barnes.
It's been a nice little run by Miami to put some distance between them and Carolina going into halftime.
Get back to Marshall. Shot clock at 18. He takes it in against the big fellow. The putback is good. That was Henson.
See, that's almost an assist. I mean, he had a sense of it. You get your mistakes, make your mistakes up on the rim, and give your big guys a chance to get an offensive rebound.
Shot clock is off. 10 seconds to play in the half. Malcolm Brant working on Marshall. Gives it up to the freshman. But Grant wants it back. Inside to the big fella. Offensive foul on Reggie Johnson. That is 2 on Johnson. And that's not the way Frank Haith wanted to end the half.
And Frank Haith very upset. I mean, picking up his second with 0.5 seconds left. Both of those fouls, too, Tim, have been offensive fouls for Reggie Johnson.
They get Reggie out now with 5 seconds left. They don't want any silly fouls now. He just committed one. That's no good if it goes. But again, Miami shoots threes, and any team that can fill it up from beyond the arc's got a chance late in the game.
What I saw after in three warm-ups in the second half that second unit going a little bit harder than they normally would.
I guarantee you they didn't expect to be in this game in that first half. Miami almost turned it over. Keep in mind, Miami came from 10 down yesterday with under 40 seconds to play to beat Virginia. The Canes beat the Cavaliers 69-62 in overtime. One of the all-time great comebacks in tournament history. And now they come out today and they light up North Carolina in the first half.
Well, I'll reiterate about Reggie Johnson. He can't pick up that third foul here early, and he's got to get some touches.
Malcolm Brant got into trouble, picked up his dribble, and gets called for traveling. So Miami with the first turnover of the second half. Barnes tweaked his ankle in that first possession, but he seems to be okay now. Strickland drifts to the right elbow, gets it up to Barnes. Barnes to Marshall to Zeller. Carolina moves the ball well. This is Marshall. And it will belong to Miami. And Henson coming over the back, knocked it out of bounds.
Again, if you're Frank Haith, that's the shot that you would like to see North Carolina settle for. Either that or Strickland from the perimeter. But Barnes is the one guy now that you have to identify out there.
The Tar Heels overcame a 16-point deficit against Virginia Tech earlier this year. Beat the Hokies by 3. You could see how good they could be then. The switch went on, and they've been sensational ever since. There's another 3-ball, this time by Thomas.
Well, that's a huge shot because Miami had to identify a second and third scorer. Malcolm Grant's been terrific, but they need somebody else to step up.
Looks inside with Zeller, but Reggie Johnson doing a nice job on the big guy. Barnes for 3.
Boy, in his zone right now. I mean, that shot was under duress too. As good as you can play defensively.
The lead is 10. Thomas hits inside. Back out to Grant. Shot clock at 15. Johnson.
Boy,
that's a power move.
Yeah, just bullying Zeller that time. And Henson, well, he had an eye to come over and block the shot, but that was a good finish.
Again, the big fella's over 300 pounds, and he's using that body. Henson again had to reach from behind and knocked it out of bounds.
Well, the good kick out, and he's the pick and pop guy, meaning that he will come behind the play. And then Harrison Barnes, that's, you know, again, that's just a good look against the zone. And that's a big man that Tyler Zeller is trying to guard one-on-one down low. You can tell Strickland is by far their best perimeter defender, and he is all over Malcolm Grant.
Durant with a reverse layup. Too strong. He gets it back from Tyler Zeller. That was just tenacity. Strickland just closing down on Malcolm Grant. You're absolutely right.
He's in full denial right now.
He's staying in his hip pocket, making Scott do it all, and the running one-hander scores.
That's the thing. If you're Durant, Scott, I think you feel like you can take Marshall.
Now, Tyler Zeller missed the dunk. The foul is called on Reggie Johnson. Both players ended up on the floor, and that'll be 3 on Reggie Johnson.
There's the good look, the floater, but you can't go to sleep against this team. And you can see in the background that Marshall was already looking up the floor, and Zeller came down awkwardly. He's kind of clenching that left wrist and hand.
Reggie Johnson rode him out of bounds. He's called for his third person. He's going to have to come out. Julian Gamble will come back in the game.
Tyler Zeller at the free throw line for 2 shots.
So that's 3 on Johnson.
Well, and we talked about it, Tim, that they will leak Zeller out on plays, and he really runs rim to rim as well as any big in the country.
How about the outlet pass by Marshall?
So it was right in the back of that replay, and you could see his eyes looking up already.
Miami still leads 38-25. 17 minutes to play in the ball game. They jump out on Durant. This is the freshman Brown. And Carolina loses it out of bounds. Just been one of those games. And again, it's Henson who stepped on the line trying to make the save. Comes up again limping. He went in with the photographers.
But you know what? If you're a coach, you really can't fault. If you got 2 guys aggressively going after a rebound, it goes out of bounds. You really can't get too upset about that. This is a play. This is an underneath out of bounds. John Henson on the ball is a huge weapon.
Brant looked at the 3. Now he dribbles inside. Gives it back to Brown. This is Thomas. Yes!
Well, right now he's the power forward in this team, and he can really spread an offense. He's a great three-point shooter.
Carolina turns it over again. Brant slows it down. Looks over at Frank Haith. Brant penetrates the running one-hander. Out to Marshall. Marshall down the lane, tough shot, and he loses it out of bounds.
Tim, I'm surprised, frankly, by the way North Carolina has come out of the locker room here. I thought that they'd be on the same page and energized. They've scored 3 points in the first 4 minutes.
Miami's hit 6 of its last 7 3-pointers. They started just 1 for 9. They lead 41-25. Thomas again. His shot is short, gets it back. Everything right now going Miami's way. There's the Hurricanes run over the last 5 minutes. Shot clock at 20. Malcolm Brant beyond the arc. His shot is short. Right now, Miami just wants to manage the game, but they're going to have to hit some shots to keep the lead, obviously, to win the game. Because Carolina's going to make a run at them. Barnes beyond the arc. Splash.
And it's that guy, too, I think it's going to fuel the run. He had those game-winning shots down in Miami. Right now, North Carolina's got to get something out of their defense, Tim. Miami's going to be a little bit more deliberate.
Brant Scott seems fine now. Drives to the basket, loses the ball. It'll belong to North Carolina. Hey parents, register your child today for the ACC Kids Club. Children 8th grade and younger will enjoy outstanding benefits. Visit acckidsclub.com for more information and to register your child now. Brant Scott was furious down here. He thought it was knocked out of bounds by Carolina. Tar Heels trying to generate a run of their own. Henson is fouled. Will go to the line.
Big minutes for Henson offensively with Zeller out of the ball game. He's the only post player they have right there, along with Knox.
Foul is on Julian Gamble. That's his second. Henson misses the free throw. A reminder, closed captioning for today's telecast is provided by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's bow time.
Henson's been a monster on the glass, already in double figures there, but he has been very quiet defensively. Only one block shot in the game so far. He had 28 in the last 5 coming in.
Carolina faithful come to their feet.
And that more a function of not only Miami shooting a lot of threes in this game, but Johnson not getting a lot of touches.
As you would expect, it's a huge Carolina crowd here today. Gamble. Big fella wants to take Knox. He turns it over and loses it out of bounds. No, last touch by the Tar Heels. Henson got a hand on it. We've got 3 left on the shot clock.
This is where Henson comes into play. They get a deflection.
First they have to get it in bounds, then they've got to release it in a hurry. This is Thomas. Gamble gets it back. Durant Scott cleans up the mess.
You can see a sense of urgency creeping into the North Carolina team already with under 14 minutes to play.
You can feel it in the crowd, Mike. McDonald answers with a 3.
Big shot.
The lead's 11. Thomas picked up his dribble. Brant Scott comes and gets it. Shot clock is at 10. Every possession now is tension-filled. Thomas to Gamble with 3 on the shot clock. The fadeaway is blocked. 1 on the shot clock. Violation. Turnover. Carolina ball.
Yeah, finally Henson that time comes in as a factor defensively. Good read with the shot clock coming down. He knew he had to put the ball up.
.53 remaining in the ball game. The crowd is alive.
Right now, Tyler Zeller is out of the lineup, and we talked about it. The left wrist was clenching is the same one he broke his freshman year. Doesn't have any ice on it or anything right now.
Other than Barnes, Carolina doesn't have a double-figure score. Inside to go to Henson. Henson off balance, tries to bank in a tough shot. Knox has it banked away. That's double dribble, and it'll belong to Miami. Henson with just 6 points. Zeller with just 5 points. Guys who average double figures, not getting it done today.
We're going to start seeing more teams play zone. Virginia Tech has used it to their advantage last night. Miami's has been very effective in this game so far. They've taken away the interior for North Carolina.
Still too early to say that time is a factor in this game, but Miami right now firmly in charge. This is Thomas. He's had the hot hand in the second half.
For the last 2 minutes, they've been very content to run through their offense.
Shot clock is at 5. Malcolm Grant's got to go. Splits the double team. Has it blocked. There's 2 on the shot clock. Miami to bring it in, Mike, and there's only 2 seconds on the shot clock. So the Canes really have to get it, release it, and hit it. 3 more for Thomas.
What a killer possession.
McDonald takes it to the baseline, runs into the big fella. But Henson is there to clean it up. I keep saying it, but boy, is he long.
Yeah, and that's, you know, and that was the thing that, again, Miami was concerned about coming into the game. But that really has, North Carolina really has not been a big presence on the offensive glass.
Thomas again. Yes!
I talked about that second score showing up, and Adrian Thomas has
4 of 11 from beyond New York. dribbles. I mean, Reggie Johnson is a space eater. Takes up a lot of room in there. Tough to get around him, but how about this?
Yeah, that's a killer right there, right at the end of the clock to hit the three, and the crowd and the bench into it. Thomas started 0 of 5 and 4 of 6 since then. But boy, Adrian Thomas, this is what he can do. It may be their best offensive lineup when he's at the power forward position and stretches the other team's D.
He's feeling it right now. We told you Miami gets points in bunches, and they make a living from the bonus sphere. Right now, they're filling it up. Brant Scott with the one-hander. Like chum to sharks, they're feeling it now.
And that's, you know what, it's the last thing you want to do in a lower seed team is give them confidence and make them feel like they're world beaters, and that's what Miami looks like right now.
Barnes way outside. Remember the run they made just a year ago. They came into this tournament, they upset Wake, they beat Virginia Tech. They came up against Duke and led for most of that game, but lost it 75-72. And they score again.
That's the play they love to run. We talked about that high screen roll and let him roll into the lane.
McDonald for 3 will help. Tyler Zeller comes back into the game.
Yeah, that's good news. And, you know, I just hope that there was just a little bit of a bruise or a sprain on that wrist.
53-37. Miami.
You see 4 guys in double figures right now for Miami.
And only 1 for the Tar Heels. That's Barnes. He's got 15. This foul is against Kendall Marshall. Hand checking and pushing. That's 2 on Kendall.
Neither team even close to the penalty right now, but Miami is really making North Carolina defend for 35 seconds in each possession.
9:23 to play. Canes in no hurry. Turnover from Malcolm Brant. Tried to call timeout, but stepped back and stepped on the line.
That's the type of play North Carolina needs more of. If you're Miami, you have to stay away from the corners, especially at midcourt, because North Carolina will run and jump there.
North Carolina will not panic. This is a very talented team. They can get points from a lot of different guys. Look at this alley-oop. How about that vision by Marshall and put it right there next to the rim?
Well, that's a play that they will run against the zone. They like to lob over the top of it from the backside.
Different ball club since Kendall Marshall has taken over as the point. Brant Scott left alone in the corner, way too strong. Marshall's pushing it. Henson. Nice defense by Reggie Johnson, and the foul. So it'll be Miami basketball.
There's the look over there, and just that backside fell asleep, and it was almost a little brush screen by Zeller coming up that cleared out space.
Mike, the biggest single difference in this ball club when they turned it around was Kendall Marshall. Everybody else in the team seemed to elevate their game. Malcolm Brant out into the corner.
Reggie Johnson over the back, his 4th.
The ACC is now on Facebook. All you have to do is log on to Facebook, become a fan of the Atlantic Coast Conference. You get breaking news, conference updates, and connect with other ACC fans from around the world. North Carolina trying to make a run. Carolina fans trying to beg them on, cheer them on. Inside to go to Zeller, can't get the pass. Good job by Gamble. Might have had him wrapped, but got away with it. 17 turnovers now for North Carolina.
Not a great entry angle that time for Kendall Marshall.
As he goes out, Roy Williams had a word with Ray Natili, the official.
Roy Williams going small right here. Henson the only big on the floor, and he has McDonald and Barnes, his 2 best 3-point shooters, out on the floor.
We go under 8 minutes to play. First game, quarterfinal Friday. Ryan Brown comes away with it. New 35. At Grant is fouled. Miami's largest lead was 19 points. Keep in mind the Tar Heels overcame a 16-point deficit against Virginia Tech earlier this year. But of course, time now becomes a factor. Malcolm Grant at the line. That'll make it a 15-point game. Pushes it to 16. Now time is a factor. 7:45 to play. Mike, what's Carolina have to do to get back in this thing?
Try to get out in the open floor. I mean, that's not effective right there, but they just have had no open opportunities on the fast break. And that's, you know, they've got to start defensively, but they have really struggled in the half court.
5 count is still going. Malcolm Grant's got to separate. That's 5.
Credit Kendall Marshall that time. He creates that turnover.
Don't forget, coming up next, the number 4 and 5 seed, Boston College and Clemson. And of course, quarterfinal Friday continues. Duke, Virginia Tech tonight. That's always a fun game to watch. And that 3-ball will help here for Carolina.
Leslie
McDonald now has 9.
Yeah, he has stepped up in the last 5 minutes.
Carolina now needs stops. Oh, Marshall thought he had that pass. Shot clock at 12. Stopped by the Tar Heels.
3 here makes it a little interesting.
Kendall Marshall for 3. Yes! 10-point game.
First half.
Mike, it's an 11-2 North Carolina run. We talked about the comeback they had against Virginia Tech. They're trying to orchestrate one here.
And they were 14 points down in that game against Miami down in Coral Gables as well. So there was they've seen themselves in this position before. You want a steady diet of that, and they haven't recently.
That was back in February. North Carolina came back and won 74-71. Thomas with a pull-up jumper. All of a sudden, that shot's not finding the net.
And all of a sudden now North Carolina coming up with the 50-50 balls.
Outside the Barnes. Baseline. Marshall, the 3-ball. Kendall Marshall again. Duran Scott to Brown.
And now Miami's starting to play with a sense of urgency, and they can't find the range.
Kendall Marshall again. Gamble comes away with it.
Even with those prior 2 shots, Roy Williams did not like that choice.
Under 5.5 to play. Durant Scott with a nice drive. Can't get it to go down. Nothing falling now for Miami. Barnes. Yes.
Yeah, Frank Hayes needs a timeout. In North Carolina, has extended their defense and now full court, especially to the half court.
They break that rather easily. Malcolm Grant gets it.
I think now you can attack the rim. Henson's on the bench getting a little bit of a blow to get under the 4-minute mark. There's no shot blocker out there.
And Zeller's out at midcourt.
Reggie Johnson's got McDonald on him and he can't get a touch.
Yeah, he's frustrated too. Shook his head when he didn't get the pass. Shot clock is down to 5. This could be a wasted possession. Grant, air ball, shot clock violation. Miami comes up empty again. Oh, how this game has turned. Malcolm Grant to the hoop. He's fouled by Strickland. And Malcolm Grant will go to the line to shoot 2.
And that was a tough play right there. You've got the momentum, and a careless pass by Strickland up top. Live ball turnovers out front that turn into points or opportunities for points.
Malcolm Brant at the free throw line for 2 shots.
So Malcolm Brant, the 6-foot junior from Brooklyn, New York, 87% free throw shooter. Makes the first. He's got 15 points. Misses the second one. Do you believe it? McDonald for 3 more. He had a foot on the line. It's a 2. But the lead is 3. Offensive charge.
Miami has gotten completely out of character, Tim, and it started when they got more deliberate trying to milk time on the clock, and you run that risk if you're not scoring at the end of it. North Carolina, credit them. Their defensive intensity has gone up about 3 notches.
Three-point game, and Carolina has a chance to tie. Zeller with a jump hook gets the roll. It's a 1-point game. The 19-point lead is down to 1.
With those 3-point shots, they've really spread that zone out, and it's gotten Zeller touches inside.
Thomas. Into the big fella. Johnson tries to back his way in. Strong move up top. Bucket counts. He'll go to the line for 1 more.
Green roll, the way Reggie Johnson got the ball inside. Carolina had a switch, and Harrison Barnes was stuck inside on him, and Zeller couldn't leave Thomas out on the perimeter.
Johnson misses. And here comes Carolina. Down low to Zeller. Little jump hook over top of Johnson.
Yeah, again, Thomas was stuck out on Barnes, who was really reluctant to dig in inside, and Zeller's got all the time in the world to make his move.
Back to 1. They double Scott. He's in trouble. And timeout Miami. Under 3 minutes to play. Again, they're melting the clock, shortening the game. Play clock, or the shot clock rather, is down to 7. Durant Scott right to the basket. Big rebound by Johnson. Takes it back up, can't finish. Does it again, and he's fouled. Timeout, no foul. Timeout.
No, it's going to.
It was a foul.
Leslie McDonald coming in from the back, and this is just Johnson using his size to push Henson under the rim. It'll be on the second play right there over the back.
So it'll be Miami McBall with a new 35. Back outside. Frank Haith is calling instructions as they go underneath to Reggie Johnson again. And he cannot finish.
Boy, tough miss. There's not that second big out there to come and help when Johnson rolls.
Barnes.
Great play by Henson to keep that alive.
Clock goes under 2 minutes. Miami gets it back.
The only guy they won't rotate out to, I'm talking about Miami, is Strickland. They'll let him shoot jump shots.
Again, Frank Haith calling out instructions. Into the corner for Scott. Misses the 3.
You could tell there was a little hitch there, too. He was reluctant to take that shot.
Timeout, Carolina.
The year that Clemson and Boston College would be playing a game in the ACC tournament for an NCAA tournament bid. Just an incredible job by both of those new coaches.
That Maryland Duke game is always fun to watch. That's coming up later tonight. UNC still looking for his first lead of the game. McDonald, pump fake. Ball still loose. Malcolm Grant comes away with it. 65 seconds left to play.
No need to
And the
foul.
foul on Barnes, by Barnes on Grant. And he's an 87% free throw shooter. It'll be 1-1. Good job of officiating. Roger Ayers, Ray Natilla, they jump in there.
Well, and
That might be a technical foul.
It's close. I mean, Malcolm Grant won't let it go. And Ray Natilla almost rung him up.
I mean, the emotions are high. The last thing you need here is a technical foul. Frank Haith is letting Malcolm Grant know about it.
Why, and he's their emotional leader. He's very fiery, but you can't let the situation get away from you.
This may not be over yet. Ray Natili's going over. He's going to have a word with Frank Haith. Roger Ayers, meanwhile, is talking to Malcolm Grant.
Yeah, this group has done a nice job. There you see the play right there and the foul. And
he got a couple shots. He definitely wanted a few words with Henson. I think he had them. He had those words. Meanwhile, Malcolm Grant at the line. These points are extremely important. They lead by 1 with 63 seconds left. Makes the first. Still a one-possession game, and he's got another one coming.
Even if he makes this one, Tim, it's not necessarily critical for North Carolina to go down and knock down a 3. There's plenty of time left in this game.
Your conference leader in free throw shooting misses the second.
He's had a couple misses in this game. He's 4 of 6.
Under a minute to play.
This is Harrison Barnes' time.
Zeller, jump hook, tied.
Well, here's the thing. You've got Reggie Johnson with 4 fouls on him. They're going right to him. He really offered no defense at all on that play.
Timeout, Miami. So Miami with the ball. 35 seconds on the game clock, 26 on the shot clock. No hurry for the Canes. Put the ball in the hands of Durant Scott. He'll drive, he'll kick back, he'll find Grant. And lost out of bounds by Thomas.
It's amazing how the ball moves around in the last possession of the game, and it wound up in a turnover for Miami that time.
Tyler Zeller comes back into the ball game. 18.6 seconds left. Brown, Scott, Gamble, and Johnson on the floor right now for Miami defensively.
And if it's John Henson that's finishing inside, you wrap him up and put him on the free throw line.
Marshall with the ball, 10 seconds left in the game. Shot clock is off, and the foul on Scott. That's 1. They now have 5 team fouls.
That was more of a foul, I think, just to get a look at North Carolina and what their setup was.
8 seconds left. And the foul by Gamble. That's 16 fouls. 5.6 seconds left.
Yeah, I really don't understand why Miami's doing this. I don't know if they're going to try to put them on the line or try to put Henson on the line.
Marshall, 2 seconds. 1 second. The game winner. Yes! Carolina wins!
Now they're going to go over and look at it, but from where we're sitting, it looked like it was up. Kendall Marshall, what a play. Yeah, that's That's a good basket. And how about that? Zeller finishing with his left hand on the play, the one he heard. Marshall's 10th assist of the game, none bigger. Clearly out.
Carolina's first lead of the game is the game winner. And the #1 seed advances, barely. No question the shot was out of his hand. 61-59. North Carolina moves on. So North Carolina moves on to play the winner of the Clemson-Boston College game. Big smile on Phil Ford's face as the Tar Heels, which had been down 19 points, come back to win it 61-59. We'll be back.
Coach, it was, I believe, a 27-6 run to close it out. Talk a little bit about what went on in that stretch, I guess.
Well, we became so much more active defensively. We went to a lot of our double teams and our traps. And we got a couple of turnovers, and we started making a lot of shots, and it just snowballed. It was a little bit like their game last night, you know, because Virginia didn't even get it across the 10-second line, but the turnovers helped, and then we made some big shots too.
Tell me a little bit about the last play. Obviously, you know, it turned out the way you wanted it to.
Well, you know, they had the fouls to waste. We knew they were going to use them wisely, and they did. At that time, I yelled at Kendall right at the end because I thought he may be able to throw it back to Harrison before. So he took it, and I told him to take it to the basket. When the score's tied, I think you should always attack the basket. He made a great play.
Appreciate your time, Coach. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Scott.